good afternoon, and thank you for joining me on this week's live broadcast all about selling opportunities for the fall season. So we'll be going over some of the heat transfer vinyls that are sure to yield some higher profits, and also all of the decorating opportunities that you have to reach a few different markets in order to show your customers what all you're able to offer them. We're going to be doing a mixed media look with our CAD cut patterns and also our fashion film heat transfer vinyl. So I'm using the Fusion swing away and draw press, as you can see here, and I'm set all up here for my time, temperature, and pressure already, so I won't need to adjust that. However, I just wanted to point out the platen that I'm using here. This is the 6x10, and this is going to allow me to thread this accessory on here and get a nice flat surface for the print area that I'm going to be applying my transfer to. All right, before I do this, I do have some wrinkles in here that I want to get out, so I have a nice pressure for my transfer. So I'm going to lock this down, double check my pressure since I just loaded something in there, and go ahead and just do a quick preheat to get all of those wrinkles out of that fabric. Takes about 3 to 5 seconds to do that. Okay, so now I have a completely flat surface that I'm working with. Nothing's going to get in the way of me getting a nice even pressure and durable application. All right, so you can see that I'm working with patterns that we offer in our Stahls custom patterns, and I'm also going to be doing fashion film. Now, anytime I'm working with a two-color look or a mixed media design, I always want to take the heat transfer vinyl that is the largest portion of my transfer. That's going to just help with registration and getting everything lined up on the accessory right. All right, just make sure I'm nice and center. I'm going to bring up my side seams. Looks like I can move over just a little bit. All right, and I'm going to take a cover sheet to cover up that mylar area and protect my upper heating element from anything that could damage it from this bag. Okay, so my fashion film is a 15 to 20 second application. However, I'm only going to tack this for 3 to 5 seconds. This is going to give me enough time for that adhesive to start activating and sticking to that burlap, but it's also going to speed up my production time since I'm still applying another product. All right, so I can go ahead and peel this back, as fashion film is a hot peel. And now I can lay in my pattern heat transfer vinyl. Okay, again, I'm going to cover with that cover sheet and apply for the full application. So patterns applies at 300 degrees for 10 to 15 seconds. Right, and that's just going to go ahead and count down for me, and then all I have to do is pop that open, and it is a hot peel, so I can go ahead and peel that back. Now, I am going to correct myself because the first application we did, I said that it was fashion film, but it is actually our glow heat transfer vinyl. It is a very similar product. It has about the same thickness, and it has the exact same application, time, temperature, and pressure. But this is a glow heat transfer vinyl. So for about an hour of light that I get on this white transfer that you're seeing here, it'll give me 3 hours of glow time, where it will be showing a bright glow lime green. Printing for fall fan wear during the month of October is for breast cancer awareness as well. So we'll be doing a breast cancer awareness application here with our fashion film and fashion film electric. So I'm going to go ahead and take out my 6x10 platen and drop in the 11x15. We'll be using a couple different platens for this particular application, and you'll see why here shortly. So this is the 11x15. I have it loaded in its landscape option there. And just going to remove all my transfers and place them after we load the garment. Okay, so the reason I have this loaded in the landscape option there is because I want this pocket to drop off the back once this is loaded on. So I'm going to open up this garment and thread it on just like I would a pillowcase, and make sure I'm working with a completely flat surface. So the seam of my cow neck hoodie here is dropping off, as well as the seam from the pocket. All right, if I were to leave those on there, I would not get an even pressure for my application here. Now, anytime I load in a new platen and a new garment, I need to double check my pressure before applying. So you can see this is really hard to lock down, and it's because I have a different platen in there. So we'll release that pressure a little bit. Need to be anywhere between a light to medium pressure. We'll test one more time. What's nice about doing that test there is that I'm getting my preheat done and out of the way as well. Okay, so first I'm going to line up my split text design here. So all I did was I took a design already created and just added pink heat transfer vinyl to it. So whenever you're decorating for the breast cancer awareness stuff, just take designs that you already have created and just change out the color so that it goes along with that theme. Okay, so I'm going to adjust this to make sure I'm nice and center. Right, so I can go ahead and cover with the cover sheet and just tack this for 3 to 5 seconds. So again, like I mentioned earlier, like we did with the glow heat transfer vinyl, anytime I'm working with multiple applications on that shirt, I can tack for 3 to 5 seconds and go in with the second application. Okay, so this is a hot peel. I can go ahead and peel this back. This is the Fashion Film Electric, and then this is just our regular fashion film that you're seeing there. All right, and now I'm just going to add my cheer text here. And we'll apply that one for the full application. All right, definitely want to make sure I'm using a cover sheet here since we do have some exposed vinyl. We don't want that directly touching that heating element. So if you don't use a cover sheet, just make sure you're doing it anytime there is exposed heat transfer vinyl on that platen so that it is not damaging your upper heating element or vice versa. All right, so that's applying for 15 seconds. Peel back hot. And now the front of our hoodie is complete. Now, anytime you're working with a garment like this, it's important that you take advantage of all of the print areas. So I have the most obvious print area taken care of, just a center chest. And now I want to take advantage of more profit opportunity. The more areas of the garment I print, the more profit I'm going to make. So I'm going to add personalization on both of my sleeves here. All right, so I'm going to interchange my platen and put in my double leg and sleeve platen so that I'm able to print both of those sleeves at the same time. All right, so this is just going to lock in just like the other platens do. All right, we're going to latch underneath, make sure that's locked in place, and test our pressure. All right, so we're at a really firm pressure right now. So we'll dial that back a little bit. And now all we have to do is load on both of these sleeves. So what I'm going to do is put the middle part of my hoodie in the center here so that we're able to thread these sleeves on better. And actually I'm going to do this the other way around. Actually, we're just going to print them separately because I'm not able to fit all of that in the collar of the hoodie. All right, so for this particular application, I could just use my 6x20, but one thing you need to keep in mind of is whenever you are working with a 6x20, sometimes that is too large to fit slimmer sleeves in there and pant legs. So this also works for just doing one at a time as well, since it is a smaller dimension. All right, so like we did earlier, we're going to tack our first application. Let's make sure we're getting a nice flat pressure back here so nothing's getting in the way there. All right, we're going to apply that for 3 to 5 seconds. And I did add a contour around this just so that we have matching heat transfer vinyl on the sleeve with the front of the hoodie as well. So I took that same electric color and I'm just dropping that in there so that that matches the front. Okay, you can see whenever I tacked, I don't have any registration issues where things aren't lining up whenever I lay in that second color. So that's another good reason why tacking is important, because it's going to reduce that heat transfer vinyl shrinkage that we get sometimes if that heat transfer vinyl is underneath the high heat for a long dwell time. So that 3 to 5 seconds reduces the risk of that heat transfer vinyl shrinking. So I'm able to line up that second color nice and easy. Hot peel again, so I can just peel that back. And we'll load on our second one. I'm going to do it on this side so you guys can get a better view of what I'm doing over here. Okay, so this application is going to go closer down to the stripe here. And I am gauging what is center on this sleeve based off of where my seam is. All right, so I'm able to line that up with that seam and know that I'm nice and straight. Now, I'm really close to this seam here, which is really thick, which could cause uneven pressure. So I'm going to make sure that's falling off of my platen here just enough so that it's not going to cause uneven pressure there. All right, and we'll apply this one for the full application since we're not doing any two color. All right, while that's applying, I'll go ahead and check out the questions. I'm going to show you how to properly heat press onto rayon so that you're not getting a big scorch mark on it. All right, so rayon is very popular, and you'll see this a lot if you're producing a lot of graphic tees. It's one of the most popular fabrics that we're seeing incorporated as a tri-blend. So with cotton, poly, and rayon, I've seen rayon and spandex, I've seen rayon and polyester. So it's lucrative that we heat print these properly so that we're not getting a big scorch mark on that, because at that point it becomes unsellable to our customer. So just going to load this on. And to do a preheat, I'm going to cover with my cover sheet. Well, a specific cover sheet, which is a flexible application pad. So this is the flexible application pad. It's nice and stretchy, kind of made of like a silicone type fabric. And what it does is absorbs the majority of the heat whenever something is underneath it for a long dwell time. So I'm going to be applying glitter flake and metallic, CAD cut metallic to this sweatshirt. So I know it's going to be under there for about 10 to 15 seconds, okay? So this is going to protect this fabric from getting a big scorch mark on it. All right, so what we're going to do is completely cover the surface that's underneath the heat press and do our preheat. So our preheat typically is around 3 to 5 seconds, but anytime I am using this flex pad, I need to increase my dwell time. So the temperature of the transfer is going to stay completely the same, but the dwell time needs to increase. So right now I'm at 5 seconds, and I'm going to change that to 10 seconds because it can be anywhere from 3 to 5 seconds. Right, so we'll go here, increase to 10 seconds, and that will be our preheat. Right, still important to preheat so that we're getting any moisture or wrinkles out of that fabric before we apply our transfer. All right, so I can remove my flex pad and I can apply my first transfer. So this is the glitter flake. This is the black gold that you're seeing here. Perfect for fall. And this tacks for 3 to 5 seconds. So we'll apply for a full 10 seconds with the flex pad on there. Glitter flake's a hot peel, so I can go ahead and peel that back. Now, anytime you are printing on rayon, you want to make sure too that even though we have that flex pad on there, we're still keeping our temperature fairly low. So I don't want to use the flex pad and still apply it like 365 degrees. I want to use a nice low temp application, including that flex pad, so that nothing's going to damage this fabric. All right, so I went ahead and laid in my gold CAD cut metallic, which is essentially a one-step foil. And now I can go ahead and apply for the full application. So the full application for these two would be 20 seconds with this flexible application pad on. So anytime that I am using a flexible application pad, I'm adding an additional 10 seconds on to whatever my application instructions say. Okay, so these both apply at 10 seconds, so I'm going to add an additional 10 and apply for a full 20 seconds. Okay, that flex pad is going to allow enough heat to get in and apply the adhesive to the fabric, but also keep the fabric from scorching or being damaged from the high heat that comes off of that upper heating element. CAD cut metallic is a cold peel, so I'll wait for this to cool. And anytime I'm peeling this back, because it is a cold peel, I want to go nice and slow so that I'm not stretching out that heat transfer vinyl too much, because it is a really nice thin material. I just don't want it to distort as I am peeling that away. But thank you guys so much for joining. I really appreciate it. Have a great day. We'll see you next week.